It's a threat that comes around with regular monotony. The idea that they are going to clamp down on people illegally streaming Premier League football games here in the UK. Now, for those outside the UK, the Premier League is a top flight of football, or for you Americans, soccer. However, once again, we are being told that Brits who stream these Premier League matches are liable to be clamped down upon and prosecuted for their actions. The Lad Bible says Brits warned they will be intercepted when searching for illegal Premier League streams this weekend. A number of sports fans here in the UK will have watched Premier League through less than legal means at times. Perhaps they're assuming they'll not be landed in trouble for it. Now, I know significantly more people who get their sport and their Premier League games illegally than I do legally. I'm not just saying this because I'm in front of a camera, but I, however, pay for my Sky Sports subscription. I pay for Netflix and I pay for Amazon Prime, etc., etc. However, I understand why people don't. The cost is ever inflating. Sky continue to put their prices up very, very regularly, in spite of already agreeing a price at the start of the contract. They do it without warning, and they do it to milk just a little bit more money from the people who actually go out their way to pay and to get their services legally. However, even then, when I speak to a lot of people I know about football, they will have watched games that I simply would not have access to legally. The local team here, Ipswich Town, are only on TV a handful of times every year. However, if you go and get a hacked Amazon Fire Stick or something similar, then you can watch every single Ipswich Town game live at 3 o'clock on a Saturday or whenever else it happens to be. This is where the system falls down. People will complain that these TV subscription packages are overpriced, and I am one of those people. However, they are overpriced because an awful lot of people are accessing these particular TV channels and these particular sporting events for free via illegal methods. It's a bit of a vicious circle. However, it's a bit more of an insult to those people who choose to watch their sport legally when you're simply unable to watch some of the matches and some of the events that are available through illegal means. So what's the solution? Some would suggest that reducing the price of the sports packages would help encourage people to get them legally, and I think that's true to an extent. However, I do believe there is a selection of people who always choose the free option, regardless of how cheap you make the legal option. The article actually writes, many other Premier League games are just not available for Brits to watch in full, and that's very true. If a game occurs at 3 o'clock on a Saturday afternoon, it will not be available to watch legally, regardless of where you look and how many subscriptions you have. This was originally done to encourage people to go and watch football for real, and particularly lower league teams who will not be put on the TV. If you have the opportunity to go and watch Colchester United, then you may not choose to go out in the rain on a Saturday afternoon in February when you can watch live Premier League sport on the TV. However, all this has done is helped accelerate the amount of people who are now streaming and watching these games illegally through devices such as Amazon Fire Sticks and similar. Sorry to interrupt the video, only 5% of the people who watch these videos regularly are actually subscribed. If you don't mind just hitting that subscribe button, it's completely free, there's no obligation, you can unsubscribe at any time and there would be no hard feelings from me. There's also a link in the description below if you fancy buying me a pint. It says buy me a coffee, but a pint's much better, isn't it? Particularly on a warm day like today. Anyway, back to the video. Illegal streaming is certainly a bee in the Premier League's bonnet, as they've successfully prosecuted people for this sort of thing before. Now, it's important to realise that most of the people they have prosecuted in relation to the illegal streaming of sports have been the people who are supplying the streams, not the people who are watching them. And I believe this will continue to be the case. If I take the cross-section of people I know who are football fans as a sample, then simply the massive amount of people who are viewing these streams illegally would make it an almost impossible logistical task to start prosecution. However, as we've seen in many areas of police and judiciary recently, they may well pick on one or two users and hold them up as an example by giving them somewhat extravagant prison sentences for simply watching Premier League football on a Saturday afternoon. This would be done with a view to discourage people from doing likewise. Whilst this is not a particularly moral way of addressing the problem, holding people up as an example is not exactly fair when it comes to sentencing guidelines. However, this doesn't seem to have stopped the government and the judiciary system in recent times from using certain people as an example to try and discourage the masses from committing similar so-called offences. So I'd like to know your thoughts as to what the solution to this problem would be. Would you pay to legally access these games? Should there be more available? We already know that there's TV cameras at the vast majority of Premier League games because they are shown on the likes of Match of the Day. You're also able to access highlights online legally after the games have been concluded and after a certain period of time. So the technology is there for us to watch these games live. If you do currently go to football on a Saturday afternoon, would being able to stay at home in the warm and dry or go to the pub and watch a Premier League game rather than a League One or League Two or National League side in real life, would that put you off actually going to watch real football? Or, if we're honest with ourselves, will we continue to find free and illegal means by which to access all the football that we desire? But in the meantime, in all honesty, I can't see people actually being persecuted or prosecuted unless it is to send a message to others. There are stories out there about people receiving custodial sentences for streaming, but like I say, these are generally the suppliers rather than the consumers. What do you think? Let me know in the comment section below. Stay safe and stay sane, everybody.